Hello and welcome to Allot 360, Talking with Experts. Today I'm sitting with Nir Fisher, AVP Product Management in charge of regulatory compliance and digital enforcement solutions at Allot. Nir, what is the difference between those two domains and how are they related?
So in many countries, CSPs and telecom operators in general are required to comply with a set of regulations that essentially define how the networks should be managed in order to comply with the law and the regulations, ensuring acceptable quality of service, protecting subscribers from either inadvertently or willingly access illegal content, and all sorts of regulations essentially that dictate how the cyber world should be viewed, should be regulated for the telecom subscribers, telecom users. In other cases, what we see is law enforcement agencies or telecom regulators that are actually the ones that are looking for solutions that would allow them to actually translate the regulations and turn them into enforcement mechanisms that are then deployed within the network operators. Allot essentially provides solutions for both requirements that are integrated into networks and allow both the CSPs and the telecom regulators at the end to either comply with the regulations or enforce the regulations themselves.
Digital enforcement is a somewhat sensitive topic. Why do governments need to monitor and sometimes control the internet traffic?
So, Michael, free internet and free access to information are, of course, wonderful ideals. Unfortunately, in the real world, these notions are sometimes twisted by criminals that take advantage of the unmonitored access to internet resources. I think that everyone can agree that child pornography is something that should be prevented, and consumption of child pornography should be prevented. Likewise, controlling applications that are being used to circumvent mechanisms that prevent this access is also a need by governments. Monitoring quality of the networks in order to ensure subscribers that they are really getting what the operators are committed to is another need. And of course, there's also the angle of cyber criminals. Unlike the first cases where we described criminals taking advantage of the cyberspace for their real world needs to conduct criminal activity, there are also cyber criminals that are actually performing DDoS attacks, phishing, or deployment of spyware onto cyber assets, and governments need to protect their national infrastructure. At the end, telecom networks are a natural infrastructure that needs to be protected.
Allot is known as a DPI and security as a service solution provider in general. How do those capabilities connect to the regulatory compliance and digital enforcement capabilities that you're describing?
So, Michael, this is true. DPI capabilities and the DPI technology is the underlying infrastructure that enables CSPs to gain visibility into the traffic flowing through the networks and control over this traffic in order to ensure quality of experience to their subscribers. But as it happens, this same technology can be used in order to allow digital enforcement requirements to also be realized by the same infrastructure. First of all, visibility is the first and foremost requirement. To know what traffic is flowing in the network also means to see traffic of illegal applications, accessing illegal contents, and essentially seeing everything in the network for good or bad. Controlling the traffic is then being used in order to make sure that access to unlawful content or trying to circumvent whatever control mechanisms deployed in the network cannot be realized. And lastly, security is an essential part of the government requirements, either to combat cyber criminals, which are trying to launch DDoS campaigns or phishing campaigns against subscribers, against organizations, or even normal, regular criminals that are harnessing the cyberspace to their advantage.
So you've mentioned a number of different threats and also the network infrastructure. Can you shed a little bit more light on that particular threat?
Well, of course, Michael, that network protection is a requirement that it's always been out there, coming from CSPs that wish to protect their own infrastructure and protect their capability to provide services to their subscribers. But over the last years, we are seeing that governments have come to realize that protecting networks is not only a requirement of the network operators themselves, but actually a requirement of the government that views networks as critical infrastructure, which is essentially the lifeline of modern economy. And hence, regulations are set in place in order to provide all sorts of protections against cyber criminals that are trying to undermine the stability of networks and attempt to deny services from subscribers and organizations.
Protecting an entire national digital infrastructure sounds like a huge operation. How does the Allot CSP-oriented solution scale to an entire nation?
Well, the solutions that have been deployed over the years throughout hundreds of networks worldwide, our inline solutions, are extremely robust. We're talking about carrier-grade platforms that have managed time and again to be one step ahead of the exponential growth and an exponential increase of capacity in networks. And as such, they are extremely robust and can be used in order to protect all the networks in the nation from a single point, a single command center, and still maintain the agility and flexibility required in order to meet known and new threats that are emerging every day.
A powerful solution. Thank you, Nir, for sharing with us, and thank you for watching, and see you at the next Allot 360.